Hello everyone, my name is Ekpereka Creations. Today I'm going to make Princess Dart peplum blouse. So this is the fabric I'm going to use. This one is 3 yards. And this is lining that I'm going to use. And this one is zip. And this is wadding to pad it. And this one is este interlining, interfacing, and this one is horsehair braids. This one is horsehair braid. I'm going to use it also. So I'm going to start now. I'm going to use this to cut the front part of it. This is the fabric I'm going to use, and this is the lining. So I put the fabric under the lining because I don't want to mark on the fabric, because if I mark there with white, if I mark with white chalk, it will not be visible enough. You might not see it. Then if I mark with colored chalk, it will stain it. That's why I don't want to mark on it. So I folded the main fabric into two. I folded the lining into two also. So this side is the folded edge. For us to know how many fabric that we put on fold, we'll work with the biggest circumference. Because this one is the upper part, so I'm going to work with my bust measurement. My bust measurement is 46. 46 divided by 4 is 11 and a half. So let's see if we'll have enough. This is 11 and a half here. This is 11 and a half. I'm going to take off 3 inches dart from the underbrush. So plus 3 inches, 14 and a half. Then 3 inches seam allowance, which is 17 and a half. So we have enough. So the length of this one is this is the length, because my half length is 17 inches, but this line is like a guide. So I'll start here. What I have here is 18 inches, but my half length is 17 inches. So this 1 inch is for seam allowance. So this is my shoulder. From my shoulder to my bust point, to my shoulder to my nipple is my bust point. I marked 10 inches. This is 10 inches. So because in my previous video I always add half inch on the under bust and the bust point. So but I noticed that it's confusing some people. That's why I decided not to put it today. I will add half inch here that I will use to join it, but it's still okay. So if you're okay with this method to add half inch on the under bust and bust point, continue, it's still okay. Then if you're okay with the one to add half inch, to leave half inch here to join it, it's still okay. So now from here, this line to this one is 10 inches to my nipple, shoulder to my nipple is 10 inches, which is bust point. So from my shoulder to my under bust, this is under bust, is 14 inches, and my shoulder to my waist is 17 inches. So this line from this edge to this point is nipple to nipple measurement. From one nipple to the other one, my nipple to nipple measurement is 9 inches. So 9 inches divided by 2 is 4.5, because this fabric is on fold. So 4.5 plus half inch for seam allowance is 5 inches. So what I have here is 5 inches. Also 5 inches on this side and 5 inches here. So this line is 5 from here. Okay, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8. So I'll mark 8 here plus half inch, 8.5. So from this line, I'll mark 1 inch. I'll come down by 1 inch for shoulder slant or shoulder slope. Then from here, my round armhole is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9. I'll mark 9 here. And this 9, this is where I'll put my bust measurement, is my chest point. So this line now is my chest line. That's where I'll put my bust measurements. So this is 8.5. My shoulder measurement 8 inches plus half inch, 8.5. Okay. So I'm going to mark my neckline. I'll use 4 inches. I'll use 3.5. 3.5, and neck depth of 5 inches. 5 inches. So I'll use this to connect it. Okay. One bust point here. Then this one is chest line. This line is chest line where I'll put my bust measurements. So I'm going to take my measurements now. My bust is 46. 46 divided by 4 is 11.5. 11.5. This is 11.5 here. And I'll add 4 inches seam allowance, or let me leave it here, 16, 4.5. It's better to have enough allowance than to have shortage. So when I finish, I'll cut it. I'll cut off the ones that I don't want. So here is underbust. I'm going to take 3 inches that off from here, and here I'll mark 2.5 inches. I'll take 2.5 inches off here, but I'll take the measurements here. This is my waistline. My waist is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10. This is 10 inches. Plus 3 inches that I'm going to cut off from here is 13. Plus 3 inches seam allowance, 16. So let me leave it here, 16. So I'll connect this line. Okay, I'm going to get the midpoint of this armhole. Is 10.5. So half of 10.5 is 5.25. 5.25. So here I'll mark 3/4 here, 0.75. This is half, this is 3/4. Okay, so So here I'll mark, this is the midpoint. I'll mark 1/2 inch, 1 inch on this side. I also mark 1 inch on this side because I want to take total of 2 inches that off from here. So I'll mark 1 here. And 1 also on this side. Okay. And this is the midpoint. So here on this side I'll mark 1 inch on the underbust. One inch here. and on this side I'll mark 2 inches. So this is waistline. On this side I'll mark half, and this side I'll mark 2. Two inches. Okay, this is underbust. I mark 2 inches here. Here I mark 1 inch. Here I mark, this is waistline, I mark half inch here. On this side, underbust, I mark 2 inches also. I mean waistline. On this waistline, I mark 2 inches also on this side. Okay. So I'm going to connect it now. I'll use this French curve to connect it. On this side also I'll use it. Okay. So this is the midpoint. And I'll connect this one also. And this one. Okay, so now I'll connect this one to this one. And this one to this one also. Okay, so if I cut this now, after joining, it will be short here. So because of that, these 2 inches that I marked here that I'm going to cut off, I'll add it here. So I'll add it here. Then I'll connect it with this one. Okay, I'll connect this to the neckline. I nearly forgot. I'll connect this to the neckline, the shoulder slope. So there, I'll mark half inch. So this is seam allowance for joining the shoulder. It's half inch, so I'm going to cut it now. Okay, this is what we'll have now. This is what we'll have. This one is the lining. This one is the lining. The lining is 2. This side is 2, and this one is 1. So you can see. This is what we'll have. So I'm going to. Okay, this is what we'll have. This is the front part of the blouse. Okay. I'm going to cut the back one now. This line is like a guide, and this one is zip allowance. This is 1.5. From here to this point is 1.5 inches. Let me show you. This is 1.5 for zip allowance. So from my shoulder, this is shoulder line. From my shoulder to this line is 9 inches, because back dart starts from 9 inches is standard. So this is 9 inches. That's where my dart will start, my back dart. And this line is 17 inches, which is my half length, my waistline. This line 17 inches, and this one is seam allowance. So now I'm going to mark the darts. Here on the waistline, I'll mark 1/2 inch on this side and 1/2 inch also here. Then I'll connect it to this point. Okay, this is my back dart. So I'll mark my shoulder measurement. I will start from this line, this zip line. I will not start from here. So my shoulder is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8, plus 1/2 inch for joining, plus 1/2 inch, 8.5. So I'll go down by 1 inch. So here, my round armhole is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9, and this line is 9 already. So I'll just connect the line. So I'll mark my neck width and neck depth. So I'll take 3.5, because I marked 3.5 on the front one. So I'm going to use 3.5 here also. And neck depth of 1 inch. So connect it. If I like, I can use this, or I can just curve it. Okay. So this shoulder slant, I'll connect it to the neckline. So from here, I'll mark my bust measurements now. My bust is 46. 46 divided by 2 is 11.5. 11.5. So plus 3 inches seam allowance. Oh, this is, I mark 11. 11.5, not 11. 11.5 here. Then 14.5. I added 3 inches seam allowance. This is the line that we're going to cut. This is 11.5, and this one I'll clean it. Okay, my waist is 40 divided by 4 is 10 inches, so I'll mark it from, you can see where I'm taking the measurements. Let me be sure of this one. Yeah, 11.5. So 10 inches here, plus this 1 inch, 11, and 3 inches seam allowance, 14. So 14 here. So I'll connect it. Let me just use this one. I'm going to get the midpoint of this armhole. It's 10.5, so half of it, the midpoint will be 5.25. 5.25. So I'll just use this for, hold on. So I forgot to tell you about this line. This line is my nipple to nipple measurement. It's 5 inches. You see? It's 5 inches from this line to this center line here is my nipple to nipple measurements. Because I'm using my nipple to nipple measurements for this back darts, because my standard is 8 inches, which is 4 inches on fold. So my nipple to nipple is more than that. That's why I'm using my nipple to nipple. If your nipple to nipple is more than 4 inches on fold, which is 8 inches, then you will use your nipple to nipple measurement. If it's less than that, you will use standard, which is 8 or 4 on fold. Okay, so I'm going to cut it now. And also you can see the fabric is folded into 2 here also, and the lining is folded into 2. So because I don't want to mark on the fabric, that's why I marked on the lining. Okay, so I'll cut it now. I'm going to cut it now, but before I'll do that, I'll curve this armhole. Okay, so I'm going to cut it out now. Okay, this one, the zip line, I will open it. This is what we'll have after cutting the back one. This is 2 side one, and this is 2 center one. So you can see this is where the zip will be. This is 2 center one, and this is side ones, the 2 side ones. Okay. I'm going to cut the lower part of the blouse. The full length of the blouse is 26 and my half length is 17. So for me to get the lower part, I'll minus 17 from 26. 17 minus 26 is 9, plus 1 inch for seam allowance is 10 inches. So the peplum that I will cut now will be 10 inches. So the peplum that I want to cut now, because I want it full, I will use 720-degree peplum. So what I will do now, I'll divide my waist measurement, which is 40. I will divide it by 2 because I'm going to cut 360 times 2 is 720. So 40 is my waist measurement. 40 divided by 2 is 20. So 20 plus seam allowance, because I will join the front one to the back one. So I need 2 inches to join it to the back one. So which is 20 plus 2 is 22. So what I'm going to cut here now, the waist measurement for this one is 22 inches. So 22 inches by 10 inches length. So what I will do now, I will use radius, waist radius, to work it out. So 22 divided by 6.28 is 3.5. So 3.5. So see the way I'll fold my fabric. So this is 3.5 here, and the length of the peplum is going to be 10 inches. 10 inches, which is 13.5 here. So from that 13.5, I'll fold it. So it's supposed to be 13.5 folded into 2, which is 27 inches. You see, this is 13.5 like this. So we fold it like this, and we fold it again into 4 places. So but I have more than 13.5, so I'll fold it like this. I want to get 13.5 here. 13.5. So this is folded into 4. It's folded into 4. So I will make sure that I have 13.5 on this line and 13.5 on this line. If you have more, fine, but you'll make sure that you have 13.5. So here I have more than 13.5. I have 14 and half, and on this side I have 14 also. So it's enough for my peplum. So what I'll do now, remember my waist radius is 3.5, so I'll mark 3.5 here. 3.5. 3.5. 3.5. So let me make sure. Okay. 3.5. So here I'll have 10 inches here. So I'll start from here and to this point is 13 and a half. So 13.5 or 13 and a half is still the same thing. 13 and a half. And a half. And a half. So this one is the length of my peplum, and this place is my waist. Yeah, 10 inches. Okay. This one is for front part of it. So, but before I'll cut it, I'll show you something else. In case if you don't want to use a waist radius, I'll show you another way you can do it. Okay. So the way you do it, you fold your fabric into 4. When you fold your fabric into 4, then you measure, you will divide your waist into 4. Like this front part, I got 22. 22 divided by 4 is 5.5, which is 5.5. So 5.5, you'll get 5.5 here. You'll mark to have 5.5 here. If this line is 5.5, then for us to know if this one, the one that I just marked, if it's accurate, so what we'll do is, let's say 5.5. You see, this is 5.5. It's accurate. So if you want to divide your waist into 4, you can do it. It's still the same thing. I'm going to cut it now. This is the front part. And this is the waist. Okay. I'm going to cut the back one. My waist is 40. 40 divided by 2 is 20. So I'll add 2 inches seam allowance to it also, to join the front and the back one together. Then I'll also add seam allowance for zip allowance. So zip allowance, I'll add like 3 inches, which is 1.5, 1.5. So okay, so now I'm going to fold it, and you remember that the length of the peplum is going to be 10 inches, 9 inches peplum and 1 inch for seam allowance. Okay, so I'm going to work it out with waist radius, which is 2 pi, your waist measurement divided by 2 pi, which is my waist measurement, which is 25. 25 divided by 6.28 is 3.3 is about 3 point something. So I'll approximate it to 4 inches. So now I'm using 4 inches. So what I'll mark here, so I'll fold it into 4. So after folding it, I'll make sure that I have 14 inches here, 10 inches for the length and 4 inches for the waist, my waist. So which is 14 inches and also 14 inches on this side. You can see I folded it into 4. I'll fold it like this and fold it again, which is into 4, and this is 360 peplum, this one. So I'll check to see if I have up to 14 inches. Yeah, this is 14, I have 15, I have enough. On this side you check also, you see this side, just check also, I have enough, I need 14 inches. So here I'll mark 4 inches. Oh, where's chalk? Okay, so from here I'll get 15 because, I mean 14, because this is 4 inches. I'll connect it. I'll connect it. So from here I'll get 14 inches because from this point to here is the length of the peplum, so which is 10 plus this one 14, so I'll get 14 inches here. I'll mark 14 inches here. Okay, so I'll connect the lines. So I'm going to cut it now. This is for the back one. So if you like, you will fold your lining into 4 and put it under before cutting so that you cut them together. Or when you finish, you can cut your lining. You can fold your lining into 4 also and put it and cut it. Okay, this is our peplum. This one is the one that will be in the front, and this one is the back one. You can see it's full peplum. Let me show you how it is. You see? This is how it is. But this front one, I will cut it. I will cut it one. So this is the front one. This one is going to be on the front side, and this one for back one. Okay. This is the one that will be on the back. So I'll cut it into 2 because of zip. Okay, this is the back one. You can see I cut it into 2. So because of zip allowance. So this is the lining for the back one. I'll cut it 2 also.